Saturday night for baseball in the big town. Mets trying to get a glimpse of a victory after losing their last two. Night for nostalgic caps in the ballpark, and the crowd filing its way in, getting ready for Saturday night baseball. At Citi Field in New York, Pix 11 Sports presents New York Mets baseball tonight. The Mets play the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. I'm Gary Cohen. Keith Hernandez joins me in just a moment as the Mets play the middle game of their weekend series against the Angels, who won last night 4-3. The Mets have been trying to win with fundamentally sound baseball lately, with a lack of the power bats of David Wright and Ike Davis, both on the sidelines with injuries. And for the most part, they've done that. But of late, they have struggled in one particular area, and that is execution by their pitchers at the plate. Pitchers haven't been hitting at all, but more importantly, they haven't been bunting very well recently either. And Terry Collins, Keith, had the team out before the game, the starting pitchers, to personally direct bunting practice.
Well, I think, it's the new sheriff in town. There's an attention to detail. There's accountability. Terry Collins, I love everything he does. He's a baseball lifer, and a baseball rat. He loves to be at the stadium. He's here early. He sees things that aren't happening on the field. He gets them out there and has them work. He had them out there throwing to them, instructing them on bunting today at 4 o'clock, I believe. So, those things didn't happen in our day. We came out around 5 o'clock and hit, and, that was all done in spring training. Well, it's different here.
Terry's been playing Ruben Tejada every day at second base. Ruben's been contributing fine defense, but his bat has slowed down. He'll go to the bench tonight.
Well, Murph is going to play third base tonight, and Turner goes over to second base. Tejada had a hot bat for quite some time, and then even the 300 hitters go into slumps. So I think they're giving him a little bit of a rest. They're a little bit challenged in the corners on defense because of this. Duda's going to be at first and Murph's at third.
And interesting that they do that tonight, because in the past, Mike Pelfrey's been a ground ball pitcher. You wouldn't want to shortchange him on the infield defense. But lately, Pelfrey's become much more of a fly ball pitcher.
He has become much more of a fly ball pitcher, and some home runs he's given up alarmingly, which has been his problem this year. It's given him trouble. The big plus for Pelf is his last two starts, he hasn't walked anybody, and over the season, his walks are considerably down, only 23 walks on the year. He has pitched good his last two outings, only given up 2 runs in 6 innings and 7 innings, but only came up with a loss, and that was the one in Milwaukee where the home run by, Pittsburgh, the final game of that series.
And for the Angels, a guy the Mets have seen before, the consistently durable right-hander, Dan Herron.
Well, it seems like he's been around forever, hasn't he? Came up with the Cardinals, was traded over in that Mark Mulder trade to the Oakland A's, pitched 3 years there. He's a strikeout guy. Last 3 years, has struck out over 200. He works over 200 innings. He's got a great cutter, power pitcher. He's having a terrific year, 6-4.
So Pelfrey for the Mets, Herron for the Angels. Interleague baseball at Citi Field. All the action coming your way tonight right here on Pix 11. best-selling vehicles with the best-selling values in America. Drive one at your Tri-State Ford dealer today. By Dunkin' Donuts. To get dunked, go to getdunked.com. That's GETDUNKD.com. By your Tri-State area Volkswagen dealer. Visit VWDealer.com. By Bank of America. By Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local Dodge dealer today. And by Bad Teacher. In theaters June 24th. Complete your Citi Field experience with the McFadden's Mets Game Day package. Includes a 1-hour happy hour, a complimentary appetizer, and a post-game drink coupon. Get to Mets.com for your tickets now. Mets baseball in high definition is brought to you by Time Warner Cable, Roadrunner Broadband. It's the Mets and the Angels. Mets trying to get even in this series and get back to their winning ways. Beautiful sunset developing over Citi Field. First pitch coming up in just a moment. Nautica Discovery gift set. Text DAD to 77944. There's the lineup for the Angels under Mike Scioscia. Bobby Abreu in the lineup tonight. He's only started 17 games in the outfield, primarily been a DH, but he's been the hottest hitter for the Angels, so Scioscia has to get Abreu into the lineup. Russell Branyan gets a start at first base. Mark Trumbo started there last night, and Hank Conger, the switch hitter, gets the start behind the plate for the Angels, who are 3 games under 500, but only 3 games out in the American League West.
And there's Big Pelt. Mike's going out there. This will be Pelt's 15th start of the year, and as we said, look at his numbers. In 81 innings pitched, 23 walks, and that's outstanding. The alarming thing is the 12 home runs. And the fact that the right-hand hitters are hitting .278 against Mike with 4 home runs. That shouldn't happen with the hard sinker, but we've noticed Gary's been very inconsistent with his hard sinker this year. Have a difficult time being consistent with it, but he's pitched better than his 3-5 record. And we'll take a look at the defense brought to you by Audi, Truth in Engineering. And you can see Paulino back there, 8th straight start. Looks like he's kind of taken over behind the plate. Lucas Duda at first base, his 4th start there. Turner back at his 18th start at second, and Murph over at third base, only his 5th start.
Well, with Ronnie Paulino behind the plate, Mike Pelfrey has clearly been more aggressive. In the games that Pelfrey has started with Paulino, he's got a 3.91 ERA. With the games he started with anybody else behind the plate, he had a 7.39 ERA. So for whatever reason, this tandem's working well. It's one of the reasons why Paulino was out there tonight again against the right-hander.
And the caddy keys to the game are, of course, comfortable with Paulino, as Gary just stated. We talked about the home run ball. He's going on 4 days rest. And the keys to the games are brought to you by Cadillac. Visit Cadillac.com to find a dealer near you, nearest you.
Vice Aristuris getting set to lead it off for the Angels. This afternoon, the Washington Nationals won their 8th in a row. They beat the Orioles again today, 4-2. They haven't lost since Ryan Zimmerman came back, and they're averaging 7.5 runs per game since he returned.
He's an inspiration, isn't he not? There's no question about that. He was sorely missed, and they are ahead of the Mets in the standings.
Half a game now. Mets can tie them up again with a win tonight. Mets were 6-3 on their road trip until that final game loss where they let it get away late in Atlanta. Then couldn't quite overcome the Angels last night. Now Pelfrey trying to get them back on the winning track against Aristuris and the Angels, and a first pitch fastball for a strike. Aristuris 2 for 5 last night after missing a couple of games because of a sore foot.
Scored 2 runs for the Angels last night.
Ball and a strike to Aristuris. Eric Ibar to follow, and then Torrey Hunter here in the opening inning. Temperature in the low 80s at game time. Just a perfect evening for baseball. And Pelfrey gets 2.
Well, Aristuris, a switch hitter, hitting much better against left-handers, although not too shabby against right. 272 against the right-handers, but over 300 against lefties.
One, two, and it's on the inside corner. Pelfrey gets him looking. And so Mike, who doesn't strike out many, begins this evening with a strikeout.
Well, that's a key for Mike against left-hand hitters, Garrett, and that is to get that inside fastball. And you see Paulino set up in, and that is paint your wagon right there. Right on the black. And that is a pitcher's pitch.
And again, that's something he's done far more with Paulino behind the plate than he did earlier in the season. Worked effectively inside against the lefties. Here's Eric Ibar, 0 for 3 last night, and hitting just 170 over his last 13 games. And runs up as though he's going to slug bunt and takes a strike.
Well, he's another little pesky guy at the top of the order for the Angels. Kind of a National League type team. He's just the opposite of Aristuris. He's a better left-hand hitter. But boy, he can pick it. He played some terrific shortstop last night.
You know, he made an error in the game, but you watch Ibar on the field and you can understand why the Angels value him. He's just got terrific actions at shortstop.
Well, he's quick, got a strong arm. He has great range, and he charged a couple balls last night, got a couple in between hops, and picked them cleanly.
Some of the particulars on Eric Ibar. His older brother Willie played with Tampa Bay. And it's hit weakly down to first. Duda right at the bag, and that's the second out. So 2 up and 2 set aside by Pelfrey, and he'll take on Torrey Hunter with the bases empty.
Another inside fastball that Mike got on the corner, up and in.
Here's Hunter, who had been in a slump coming into the series, but went 3 for 4 last night and drove in a run, hitting at .232 for the year. The Angels have the 35-year-old Hunter hitting third in the order, and the 37-year-old Bobby Abreu batting cleanup. It's an Angels offense that has struggled for most of the year. A ball and a strike to Hunter. And there's Abreu, who sat last night. Probably one of the more underappreciated players of the last decade or so. 2-1 now to Hunter.
He began his career in Minnesota.
2-2 now to Hunter.
Pelfrey looking for his 4th win of the year. He's pitched well his last 2 starts, just hasn't been very fortunate. His last game against Pittsburgh, he gave up 3 straight hits to start the game, then retired 20 of his last 21 batters. The one was a home run to Brandon Wood, and that was enough to beat him. Popped up, shallow right. Beltran got a late start, now coming on to make the grab and end the inning. The Angels go out 1-2-3 before Pelfrey. The Mets come to bat with Reyes to lead off. Bank of America. Ruben Tejada out of the lineup tonight. Lucas Duda goes in at first base, moving Turner to second and Murphy to third. Ronnie Polino had a really good night with the bat last night. A couple of doubles and was robbed of another one on a tremendous play by Peter Burgess out in center field. And there's Dan Herron making the start tonight.
Well, we talked to him in the open. He's been one of the durable pitchers, a guy that really chews up innings. He's already got, what, almost 100 innings pitched. Look at the strikeouts. Only 15 walks. The ERA is sparkling. He is a power pitcher.
Reyes took a rare 0 for last night. He's only had one instance this year where he's had back-to-back hitless games. They'll try to avoid that tonight. And he hits the first pitch in the air to right field, and Torrey Hunter barely has to move. One pitch by Herron, and Reyes retired for the first out.
And we'll take a look at the defense of the Angels, brought to you by Audi Truth and Engineering. And that's a typical Societins. Mike, how do you pronounce his name?
Socha.
Jeez, I should know that. I played against him.
It's easier than Krzyzewski.
I hear you. So his team, he's a Dodger guy. They teach the fundies. Sorry, Gary. Thanks. I needed help. I blew it last night too. You know.
It's okay. We all make mistakes.
Every time I see Mike Socha, I think of the home run he hit off Doc.
Game 4, 9th inning. You guys were on your way. 1988. Justin Turner takes a strike. 2-1. It was about to be 3-1, and Socha, who didn't hit a lot of home runs,
I think he hit 3 that year.
Hit it into the right field bullpen at Shea. I don't think anybody who was alive then and was a Met fan will ever forget.
It went right over my head. It was a line drive. There's Mike. And I thought it was going to sink and just be off the wall, or was stunned when it went out.
Turner tries to lay off the splitter by Herron, and he's held up in time. 2-1.
Well, Justin has the leg kick, and I have no problem with leg kicks. He's one of the guys that uses upper and lower body with his swing.
Dan Herron, each of the last 6 years, has pitched at least 216 innings, the very definition of a workhorse. Last year started the year with Arizona, was traded to the Angels. Got off to a great start this year, pitched a one-hitter on April 12th against Cleveland. And he's got that little funky hesitation that seems to help him distract the hitters, and he strikes out Turner for the second out.
We'll take a look at his motion here, and Gary talked about that hesitation. Just a little right there. And doesn't pick up his target until the top of his leg kick. I've always liked that halo over the A in the hat of the California Angels.
Well, remember when they had the halo on top of the hat? Like a halo would be on an angel?
Yes, yeah. The one logo I didn't like was the angel wings. That was in the 2000s, the last decade.
Whatever that decade was called. Beltran fouls it back, and it's 0-2.
So the Mets.
By the way, I'm told you just said California Angels.
I did.
And that's a fine 2 nights in a row.
2 nights in a row. I'll always say California Angels.
See, you're old enough to know them as the Los Angeles Angels from back when they actually played in Los Angeles. You know, the Bo Belinsky Angels.
Bo Belinsky. Mamie Van Doren.
Ibar throws out Beltran to end the inning. He had the pink Cadillac, too, didn't he? 1-2-3 inning for Herron. No score after 1. Each side went in order in the first. And Bobby Abreu will lead off the second inning against Mike Pelfrey. Abreu now 37 years old. He's been red hot lately. I was saying during the last inning, he's probably one of the more underappreciated players in Major League Baseball over the last decade or so.
Well, those years he had with the Phillies, he was highly criticized of being too soft. Criticized defensively. He's a heck of a defensive player, but criticized about him not wanting to go back against the wall. But he can hit.
Lifetime .296 hitter. Lifetime .400 on base percentage. 278 home runs. 382 stolen bases. And 8 times he's drawn 100 or more walks. I mean, he is one of the outstanding offensive players of the last decade or so. In fact, look at it this way. Since 2001, only one player in Major League Baseball has reached base more often than Bobby Abreu, and that's Albert Pujols.
Well, that's good company.
And Pelfrey gets ahead of him, and he keeps working that inside corner against the lefties.
And he's establishing in the first time through the order the left-hand hitters.
And, you know, last year he fell in love with that split changeup against the lefties. But by throwing that fastball inside, that should make that pitch better, right?
Yes, absolutely. And you would think he could throw a straight fastball to have more control with it, but he opts to throw that pitch that starts out at the hip of the hitter and then kind of sinks over the inside corner. But you can get in trouble with that. If you don't start it off the plate enough, it bleeds back out over the middle. Like that one. Still in enough to jam Abreu.
And Bay puts it away for the first out. So 1 out and nobody on. And now Vernon Wells. Wells, who's had a big-time struggle this year, went 1 for 4 last night and drove in a run. He's hitting 194, and against right-hand pitching, only 164. Wells, 32 years old, picked up from the Blue Jays in the offseason. Howie Kendrick, who's been swinging the bat very well, waiting on deck. Pelfrey's faced 5 batters, 5 first pitch strikes so far. And pitching to contact, gets the long one hopper to third. And Murphy throws out Wells, 2 down. So 2 up and 2 set aside. There's your umpiring crew for tonight. Mike Winters, the crew chief, has the plate. Mike Everett, Mike McClinsky, and Chris, don't call me Mike, Guccione at third.
As long as they're not related to Bob Guccione. They're not, aren't they?
I don't know. I've never asked. Here's Howie Kendrick, and he takes a strike.
Be nice to be on the will.
I was just going to say, there's probably some, some inheritance involved. 1-1 to Kendrick, who's the 9th leading hitter in the American League, hitting at .311, 7 home runs, 22 multiple hit games. And the curveball from Pelfrey fouled off, 1-2. That curveball's about a 5 times a game pitch for Pelfrey. Just mixes it in every now and again.
Well, Mike, you're going to get up against Mike. He's evolved into a fastball split-fingered pitcher.
And throws the splitter and gets another bounce into Murphy, who throws out Kendrick to end the inning. So 6 up and 6 down for Pelfrey to start his night. Murphy will lead off in the bottom of the second. No score at Citi Field. In engineering. Daniel Murphy leads off the home second in a scoreless game. Murphy 1 for 5 last night, tripled his first time up over the head of Torrey Hunter in right field. Murphy has a home run in his career against Dan Herron, 1 for 3 against the right-hander, and he takes a letter-high strike, 0-1. Herron has 1-0 lifetime against the Mets, 6 outings, 5 starts, both as a Cardinal and as a Diamondback. A ball and a strike to Murphy with Pagan and Bay to follow here in the second.
Well, Murphy, a little bit of a, I can't really say a tailspin, but he was red hot for so long. brought his average up over 300. His last 10 games, only 9 for 39. That's 231. So they're pitching him a little more carefully, as they should.
Golf foul, and it's 2-2.
Got a little chin music last night off that big closer, Mr. Walden, Jordan Walden, who came in last night and walked the first 2 hitters and then struck out the side with that wicked slider, that 100-mile-an-hour fastball. He gave Murph a little buzz under the chin with 0-2 count.
And Murphy gets jammed, pops one up, out goes Ibar, and Ibar bobbles it and drops it. And Murphy will wind up at second. Well, it was almost a terrific over-the-shoulder fly pattern for Eric Ibar, but he just couldn't squeeze it. And it'll be scored a double for Daniel Murphy.
I think that Vernon Wells didn't pull up here and just maybe distracted Ibar a little bit. He had it right in his glove. And Murph, for him to get here, he's got to be running hard enough to get to second base.
Now Angel Pagan, and he pops one up in foul ground. Coming back is Conger, but it's out of play. Angel, another good night last night. Couple of RBI singles. 21 games since he came off the disabled list. He's hitting .338. But he, like everybody else, was baffled by Jordan Walden, and he struck out to end the game. Walden was the talk of the Mets clubhouse after the game last night. And Pagan pulls one down the line toward the pole, but just foul. Very close to Angel's 3rd home run of the year, but he just yanked it a little bit.
Foul by around 20 feet.
Some enterprising fans got their hands on it.
Very good.
Well, Herron will come inside a lot to the lefties with his cutter and then throw his splitter as a strikeout pitch. He learned that cutter about 5 years ago, and it really changed his career.
Well, the cutter was a pitch that came on real heavily in the 80s. The Montreal Expo staff that Gary Carter was a big part of, Charlie Lee, Steve Rogers, David Palmer before he hurt his arm. They all threw the hard cutter, particularly Charlie Lee. Oh gosh, and that was a tough pitch. It's a tough pitch to lay off.
And it's certainly become more recognized over the last decade as more and more pitchers adopt that pitch.
It's better than a slider because it's a little. It doesn't break as much. It's tight, and it breaks late.
And it's harder than a slider.
Right.
On the ground to Kendrick at second base. So a productive out for Pagan moves Murphy over to third. And now the Mets have a runner at third with one out.
You know, when I played, Gary, and I got a runner over like that, and you say a productive out, you know, you got the guy over, you want to drive him in. It was always like, and the Angels are going to bring the infield in. Late in the game, when it counted, you didn't mind the productive out, but you wanted to always drive it in.
Sure, because you don't get credit for the ground ball to second. Infield in against Bay, and Conger thinks about a throw to third. Strike one to Bay. Jason has had trouble in this situation all year, just 5 for 14 getting the runner in from third with less than 2 outs, something the Mets have been doing better and better lately. Bay has 5 hits in the last 3 games as he tries to fight his way through a difficult season, and he grounds one foul, and now Herron has him 0-2.
And he got a kind of a lucky hit last night, an infield hit, and I don't see any significant change in the swing I thought he had a tough night last night, to be honest with you. And it's just, I can't put my finger on it.
And Bay makes contact. Murphy tries to get back, and he's safe.
Dropped the ball.
Well, Murphy started as though he was going to break for the plate and then started to retreat. Ibar saw him and got it there in time, but his tourist dropped the ball, and everybody's safe.
This could be an error given to Isturis, as Murph is infield in, and that's not contact. I mean, you could charge it. You could charge an error to Isturis,
or to Isturis for dropping the ball,
right?
Not to Ibar on the throw,
right?
So we'll wait to see how they score, whether it's simply a fielder's choice or an error, and they're saying simply a fielder's choice. So no error on the play. Mets have first and third and one out for Lucas Duda. And Duda takes that cutter in for ball one. Lucas making his 10th start, his fourth at first base. And a couple of productive games when he first came back up. Also had a pinch hit last night. But in between, he's been scuffling. Aaron looking over at third and at first. We've already seen that play work at least once this year.
So Duda, the big power hitter, he's a pull hitter. He's pulling up here, I think, a little bit too much. And as a young hitter wanting to hit a fastball, they're just not giving him the fastball. The veteran pitchers are just going to throw the wrinkle up there at him.
Duda's gotten that run in 2 out of 3 so far, and a nice stop by Conger to save a wild pitch and keep Murphy at third.
Well, tough chance here. The changeup. Nice footwork.
I mean, not only did he glove it, but he had his body moving in the right direction to block it if he hadn't caught it. 2-1 now to Duda. Aaron gets in on him, and it's 2-2. Dan Herron, born in California, but he's got roots here in New York. His dad grew up in Washington Heights. There's Ronnie Polino on deck. His grandfather was a motorman on the New York City subway system. And he's got relatives in Jersey and in Queens. His sister went to Columbia, so he has a lot of New York connections. Notice I dropped in that Columbia reference there.
The baby blue?
The light blue. Excuse me. You know how Carolina likes to call that was our blue first before Carolina stole it. 2-2 to Duda with one out. Aaron, a strikeout pitcher in a strikeout situation. And he gets Duda looking. So Duda is frozen, and that's the second out of the inning.
Well, all that off speed and breaking stuff, and then he finally popped him inside and it just set him up. And you know what? That's a good pitch. Sometimes you got to tip your hat. That's the only fastball he got to hold at bat, and he painted it. And he painted it on the right corner. Inside corner.
So now it's left to Ronnie Polino, hitting 8th in the order tonight. Ronnie was 2 for 4, a pair of doubles last night, and almost had a third. Peter Borges made the play of the night, going up against the fence in left center to rob him of another extra base hit.
Well, you see why Herron's got an ERA of 2.54. He is. I've seen him before with Arizona, and he's been erratic, but he's really got command going tonight.
Staying with that cutter, and it's 1-1. Mike Pelfrey on deck. So Herron can afford to be careful here with Polino. First and third and 2 out. And it's hit to shortstop. And Ibar goes the short way for the force that ends the inning. Mets get a leadoff double, but can't produce a run. After 2 at Citi Field, Mets and Angels, no score. Com today. Hey, it's a double picks weekend. We're on
About
picks
that.
again tomorrow afternoon for the final game of the series. Then the Mets welcome in the A's for 3 games before going to Texas and Detroit.
They need to supply us with more of these dark shirts.
Oh, the Pix 11 logo shirt.
I only have one. I'm going to have to double up tomorrow on this shirt.
So
don't blame me if it gets a little tough to deal with me up here tomorrow.
You've got a washing machine, right?
No, I'm not going home tonight. Staying in the city.
Well, the place you're staying, do they have washing machines there?
No. I don't do. Well, I can check.
How about the sink and a blow dryer? Here's Russell Brandon leading off in the 3rd inning.
Put it in the microwave to dry it, right?
The 35-year-old Brandon playing with his 10th different major league team, let go by the Diamondbacks in late May and picked up by the Angels, and hasn't really hit a lick this year. Batting 191 combined in his 2 stops in 94 at-bats. Brandon has always been the threat of being a big power hitter. He's had a couple of decent years, but it's been hard for him to be consistent. Good curveball by Pelfrey, and it's 1-2.
Oh, he's a big, strong guy, but he just hasn't broken through. And at this stage of the game, it's probably you are what you are.
Hank Conger, the rookie catcher, waiting on deck. Pelfrey ahead 1-2, and Brandon hits the curveball in the air to left center. And Jason Bay right there waiting. 1 away. Well, Pelfrey's retired the first 7. And now Hyun Choi Conger, better known as Hank. Switch hitting catcher, one of the top prospects in the Angels organization the last few years. #1 draft pick out of high school in 06. He's been in a slump lately, hitting a .225. He's caught about half the games for the Angels this year. Much better left-hand hitter than right, and he fouls the first pitch off. He was born Hyun Choi Conger and nicknamed Hank by his grandfather, who was from Atlanta and nicknamed him after Hank Aaron.
So he is of Korean descent?
He is. Ball and a strike to Conger. They say he's got tremendous power left-handed. He's got 3 home runs this year. Known more as a hitter than as a catcher. And takes the big rip, and Pelfrey throwing a lot of curveballs early in this game. More than his norm.
Went after a bad one there. Down and in. He takes a big rip. It's a power rip.
1-2 on the inside corner, strike 3 call. So Pelfrey mixing up that curveball with that inside fastball against the lefties. That's his 2nd strikeout, both in the same fashion.
Well, that's the strikeout pitch for Mike. And that starts at, watch him freeze the hitter. Oops, there went the fanny. That's because it started at his hip and it sinks back out over on the inside corner.
So 2 out and nobody on in the 3rd. Now Herron, one of the best hitting pitchers in baseball, who's had to suppress his skills in Anaheim. His first at bat of the season. When Herron came out of high school and went to Pepperdine, he went there as a hitter. And it wasn't until the Waves were short on pitching that he was sent to the mound and thrived there. But he's always been a good hitter.
University of California at Pepperdine is one of the most beautiful campuses, locations in Southern California, just north of Los Angeles, not too far. It's in Malibu off the cliffs there.
It is gorgeous.
Everything's gorgeous about it, even the student body.
And some pretty good pitchers have come out of Pepperdine. Mike Scott, Randy Wolf. Aaron's teammate on those Pepperdine teams was Noah Lowry, who pitched a while for the Giants, the left-hander. Pelfrey's ahead 1-2. And Herron down on strikes to end the inning. So Pelfrey's gone perfectly through the first 3 innings. His 3rd strikeout. No score in the 3rd.
Mets and Angels, and I'm happy to be joined by the very talented Glenn Close, who's here tonight. Glenn, first of all, it's a pleasure, and tell us why you're here. You have a great charity, Bring Change to Mind.
Yes.
And, you know, it's all about really awareness and kind of eliminating the stigma of mental health, correct?
Yes, it is. I have mental illness in my family. My sister's bipolar, and my nephew is schizoaffective, and together we decided with some other wonderful people to start this foundation. Well, actually, it's not a foundation, it's just an organization to try to eliminate stigma against mental illness.
The biggest misconception that you find when you go out to the public and talk about this and bring this out there, what's the biggest misconception of others?
I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that people can't recover or they can't have viable and productive lives. My sister, she's a writer, my nephew's getting married, and and you can have a life, but you have to get help, and you have to admit that you need help, and you have to have people with you who will support you in that.
It's almost like being left out of the bubble of society, essentially, right? You're trying to make them feel a part of it.
Well, 1 in 4. You know, so it's actually part of the human condition, and I think the time has come for us to accept that.
You were here tonight also singing the national anthem, another great job. You've done it many times. You did it in Game 7 of the '86 World Series. Now, you have done many things, TV, movies, Broadway. What's it like getting out there when everybody is watching, 50,000 in the stadium?
If you saw me tonight, I was a little nervous, and I didn't have my pitch pipe, and I started a little high, and so I got to those notes, and they were a little shaky, and I thought, I still have that last high note, and I'm not going to make it. I tried it, and then I shifted. Because you can't start over, right?
Once you're in the middle of it, there's nowhere to go, right?
You got to go for it.
And you're a big Mets fan. How did you become a Mets fan? And tell me about how that all started for you.
Well, I grew up, my grandmother Close loved baseball. She was a huge baseball fan, but she was a Yankee fan. So my first team were the Yankees, and then in the early 80s, I got really fed up with George Steinbrenner. And about that time, I was starting out in my career in New York. I met Rusty Staub and basically was challenged to sing the anthem at a Met game. And it was when I was kind of thinking, maybe I should change teams anyway. And so it's been a while. That's a long time ago. And I love the Mets. I love this new stadium. It's the first time I've sung here. And I hope tonight, even with my notes, that I'll be a good luck charm. Ooh.
Apparently you are, as Jose Reyes.
Go.
You have the good luck charm with the World Series. You had a little baseball experience, too, with Roy Hobbs. So there was that.
Absolutely. In the Natural. Spent a whole summer. That was a great experience. Yeah. And Redford is a good ball player. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Well, listen, Glenn, it's great to have you out here. Great to spread the word about the organization. And hopefully you're good luck tonight for the Mets, okay?
Oh, I hope so. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. I have to also say that a lot of the crew from Damages, the show that I'm doing, are here. They're in the Pepsi porch. They're right over there. Yeah.
First day at Citi Field, got the lingo down, too, right, guys? Let's go back to you with Reyes on first.
All right, thanks very much, Kevin, and thanks to the delightful Glenn Close. As Justin Turner bats with Reyes aboard, Reyes with his 102nd hit. You seen that show, Damages? It's awfully good.
No, I have not.
Check it out.
You saw it?
It's on every week.
Oh. I wasn't.
It's a television show.
Okay. I can't watch TV when you work nights.
That's why we have DVRs. Welcome.
I always forget.
Welcome to the 2011s. What do we call this decade? The 20-teens, right?
I'm just trying to get rid of my CD carousels that hold 400 CDs.
Your 8-track player? Turner lays off the cutter, and it's 1-1. Aaron thought he had a strike there. Didn't get one from Mike Winters. Reyes aboard with his 102nd hit of the year. Started the night leading the National League in batting. 24 steals this year, including one in the 9th inning last night. And Herron with a long hold to try to freeze him. Herron gives up stolen bases, 10 of them this year in 12 tries. There he goes. Conger's throw on a hop. Not in time. And Reyes has a stolen base, his 25th of the year.
Well, a rarity. Turner lets it fly with a stolen base here attempt. And Reyes just too quick. Not a good throw. The Conger's there. Easily stolen by Jose.
So the Mets have a runner in scoring position for the second straight inning. Mets last night were 3 for 16 with runners in scoring position. They're already 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position tonight. And something that had been going very well for them for a long time. They've cooled down in that area. The last 5 games hitting just 176 as a team with runners in scoring position.
Well, you know, it's ebbs and flows of a season. And you go through streaks and you just want to keep the downs as short as possible. And you want to ride as long as possible, obviously, the hot ones. And the Mets, for a long, long time, were hitting in the clutch.
2-2 to Turner. There goes Reyes, and he fouls it back. Well, Reyes had third base stolen. Yeah, but Turner fouled it off.
Yeah, but 2 strikes on Turner, and that would have been strike 3. He's got to swing the bat.
Reyes still trying to figure out what happened. It's funny, the other night we had Angel Pagan not sliding because he thought it was a foul ball. Here we had Reyes sliding, not knowing it was a foul ball. Now Ibar trying to do a better job keeping Reyes close, and Turner pops one up. Is Turris and Ibar converging near the stands, but it's out of play. So Justin Turner giving another good accounting of himself in an RBI situation. He's hitting .400 with runners in scoring position this year. It just hasn't let up for Turner. Justin played last winter in winter ball for the first time for Escogido. He played for Ken Oberkfell, the Mets bench coach who was managing down there, and he played third base the whole winter. Really the first time he had ever had an extended stretch playing third base, which kind of has given him a chance to play multiple positions here.
Well, that's what happens when you play winter ball. You get a guy that manages you and sees you. And in spring training, Oberkfell was touting Turner all spring to be the guy, but obviously he had the options, and when you have the options, you're going to go down.
I was talking to Justin today, and he said he might go back. He had such a great time in winter ball last year that depending on how much he plays this year, because you know he's playing all the time now, but the second half of the year you just don't know when the Mets get healthy how much Turner is going to play. Pickoff try, and Reyes gets back. So Justin said, you know, I'm going to monitor how my body feels as the season goes along, but he definitely is thinking about going back to play winter ball again for at least a month. Aaron working hard on Turner with Reyes at second and 1 out. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Toward the middle of the diamond, Ibar flashing over. And throws out Turner 2 away as Reyes goes to third.
Boy, did you see his lateral movement there? Ibar, he is really an impressive glove out there at shortstop. He sidled over for that ball. Look at him sidling. It's just that's just getting in front. When you can do that, that is just such good footwork. And he ranged a good distance to his left to get there. I'm just nothing but impressed with his glove.
He's a fun guy to watch. Here's Beltran, who grounded out to short his first time, trying to pick up Reyes from third with 2 out. And he takes it down for ball 1. Carlos 1 for 6 in this series. Daniel Murphy hitting cleanup, waiting on deck. Ball and a strike to Beltran. It's over at Wrigley Field. The Yankees beat the Cubs 4-3.
Oh, they started back up in Texas, Garrett. It's official now.
They were 2 out in the bottom of the 5th with Texas leading 1 out shy of an official game when the rains came there. So they're now in the 6th inning. In tight 2-1. The Red Sox tonight playing at home against the Brewers, and this is something I never thought would happen. John Lester started for Boston. Ricky Weeks and Corey Hart back-to-back home runs to start the game.
Ouch.
And they're up 3-2. The Brewers are in the third. Here's the 2-1. And that's inside. And now Herron behind on Beltran. Herron walks very few. 1.4 walks per 9 innings this year. Up among the top control artists in the league, and a fantastic strikeout to walk ratio of almost 6-1.
It was an American League night last night in interleague play.
Driven foul. By the way, that looked like a balk against Herron. Looked like he never came to a full stop.
Everybody in the National League East lost except Washington. Looked like he stopped enough.
Bob Davidson was here. Reyes would have scored. 3-2 to Beltran. The curveball hit sharply, base hit, and the Mets take the lead. Reyes comes home to score on an RBI single by Carlos Beltran, and it's 1-0 New York.
Well, nice at bat by Carlos. They were pounding him inside. He hung a breaking ball there. Finally got a pitch to hit. Wanted a backdoor slider. Oh boy, hanging right up in a tee. Stays in nicely. And Reyes once again in the middle of things.
41st run batted in for Beltran. Reyes' 52nd run scored. He's one behind Ryan Braun for the league lead in runs scored. There's a strike to Murphy, who had a pop fly double his first time up. Eric Ibar went out into shallow center field, trying to catch it coming down over his shoulder, and dropped it. And Murphy got credit for a 2-base hit. But the Mets couldn't bring him around. Beltran's been feeling a little friskier lately on the base paths. See if he tries to swipe one with 2 outs. First run of the game brought to you by the all-new Chevy Cruze. Find the Cruze and 9 other Chevy models with 32 mpg at ChevyOffers.com. That's fool's gold there, isn't it? That cutter in on you that you turn on and can't keep fair.
Well, the way they hit today, and they say keep the hands inside the ball, well, that's all you can do with it, is to pull it foul. Now, if you're off the plate and you don't swing at the bad one, you can hit it up the middle. There's various things you can do, but it's a very difficult pitch. It's most difficult because it's a hard pitch to lay off. If you got a pitcher that really has it working and control and throws it around 3 inches off the plate and it breaks in 3 inches or 4 inches bad, it's a tough pitch to lay off.
1-2, and Murphy yanks one right down to the first baseman, Branyan, to end the inning. Well, Murph hit it hard, but the Mets get the first run of the game as Beltran drives home Reyes after Reyes singled and stole a base. 1-0 New York after 3. Citi Field is brought to you by Citi. What's your story? Citibank can help you write it. From the home run apple to the Citi Field logo atop the scoreboard. The view here at Citi Field. Myceris Tourist leads off, takes first pitch curveball, a slow one from Pelfrey for ball one. It's been a go-to pitch for Pelfrey tonight. He's gone perfectly through the first 3 innings. His Tourist struck out looking to start the game. And he golfs one foul, and it's 1-1. Pelfrey's gotten 3 fly ball outs, 3 ground ball outs, and 3 strikeouts over the first 3 innings. Eric Ibar on deck, and then Torrey Hunter in the 4th. Pelfrey now working with the lead for the first time. Another curveball. And they check the half swing, and Chris Guccione says no, 2-1.
Well, he must have a good feel for it and going to it.
It's so interesting sometimes the way pitchers can evolve over the course of a game,
or out of the gate. What they come to the first pitch with. Sometimes they just have it. They just have the feel for a particular pitch, and when they're very good, they have a feel for all their pitches, and it's trouble for the hitters.
Well, if you remember when Pelfrey was first drafted and came to the Mets, he came with that curveball. Lined into center field, and his Tourist has the first Anaheim hit. Now more than ever, you need to stay on top of what's going on in the world. Keep it here for the Pix 11 News at 10 with Jim Watkins tonight, right after the game on Pix 11. So Pelfrey will have to pitch out of the stretch for the first time. The feeling among the Mets brass, and I think particularly Rick Peterson when Pelfrey came up, was that if you were going to be a sinker ball pitcher, which is what Mike seemed like he was going to be at the time, that the curveball didn't go well with the sinker, that he needed to develop his slider. And that slider has been really over the last 4 or 5 years a pitch that has come and gone for him.
His secondary pitches have been erratic since he's been up.
Ibar down to first. Duda throws to second for 1. Reyes the return in time for the 3-6-3 double play. Nicely done by Lucas Duda.
Well, he showed patience here. Now, Lucas played a lot of first base, and here he just doesn't rush the throw. He seems very controlled. The ball's hit hard. I don't care how hard the guy runs, how fast Ibar's quick. When you're playing in like that and you get a one hopper, you don't have to get rid of it that fast. Just make sure. So nicely done by the youngster over there.
Just the 4th game he started at first base in the major leagues, but he was primarily a first baseman in the minor leagues until last year when they started playing him more in the outfield. Bobby Abreu on deck.
Well, Pelfrey got the ground ball out when he needed it, huh? We talked about him getting a lot of fly ball outs. That was a nice time for the ground ball.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, a few years ago, Mike set a Mets club record for the most ground ball double plays in a season. He broke Walt Terrell's mark with 29 ground ball double plays, but it just doesn't seem like that's his game anymore. And you see the ledger on Pelfrey set a career high with those 15 wins last year. Here's the 0-2, and the curveball misses to Torrey Hunter, who flied to right his first time up. Now the 2-2, and Hunter fouls off the fastball. And a full count. So Pelfrey a little angry with himself after getting ahead on Hunter. He's gone 3-2. He's not walked a batter tonight and has not walked a batter in either of his last 2 starts. It's yanked down the left field line, an extra base hit for a Hunter. As Babe plays the carom, Torrey Hunter has his 11th double of the year. The second Angels hit of the night.
So the double play is huge in this inning. And it's a hanging curveball. And Hunter just all over it. High, you can see above the belt. Full extension of the arm, so it's hanging right in the middle.
So now Bobby Abreu will try and get that tying run in. Abreu flied to left his first time up. Polino thinking about throwing behind Hunter at second and gets that big smile from Torrey. Two guys standing out there next to each other at second base, Hunter and Reyes, probably the two biggest smiles in Major League Baseball. I mean, you talk about effervescent. Both of those guys bring that quality to the table.
They should go out to dinner, the two of them, after the game.
Well, I think they're having a nice conversation now. 2-0 to Abreu, and he fouls off the splitter, and it's 2-1. Well, there you see where Abreu ranks among active players. He has been a very productive player for a long time. He has 20 career home runs against the Mets.
Wow, almost 400 stolen bags.
Well, he has had 13 years in a row where he's had at least 15 homers and 15 steals. That's just one shy of a major league record held by Barry Bonds. Strike call 2-2. Bonds had 14 straight years of 15 steals and 15 home runs. And Abreu is on pace to get the 15 steals this year. He already has 10, but the home runs might be a problem. He only has 2. Vernon Wells would be next. Offer has come back to 2-0 from 2-0 to get the count even on Abreu. Polino setting up inside. Out to center field. He got it in enough. And Pagan is there to end the inning. So helped out by the double play engineered by Duda. Pelfrey gets around a couple of hits in the 4th. Pagan will lead off in the bottom of the inning with the Mets up 1-0.
I'm Kevin Burkhardt. Thanks for being with us tonight. We saw Torrey Torrey Hunter, that is, on the offense with the double last inning. Well, talk about his defense. You know, the big story for the Mets coming into spring training this year was Carlos Beltran and his move to right field, which turned out to be a non-story the way it was handled. Well, think about this. Torrey Hunter, the great Gold Glove center fielder, moved to right field in the middle of the season last year. And I talked to him today about it. He said, you know, before the move was made, about 3 weeks prior, I was sitting with bench coach Ron Renicky, and I said, you know what, I think I'm going to have to move to right field. I'd come off a surgery. My body just wasn't reacting, and I thought it was a necessary thing to make the team better. So, thing is, he misses center field. I mean, the prestige, the feel of it, the whole thing. He said, yeah, I miss it. I miss it every day. But I did the move. I did it to win, and that's the thing. And he said it's funny. I had a conversation when I was with the Twins about 10 years ago with Matty Lawton, and I said to him, I'll tell you what, I love playing center so much. If it ever gets taken away from me, I'm done with the game. But Torrey said, turns out, came time, I like the game more than I like center field, and McGowan likes that as it bounces out of the glove, that he's on first base to start it off. And just one other note to the story, guys. Peter Borges, who came up and played center field and essentially took over for Torrey Hunter. I talked to Borges and he said, boy, you know, I was getting called up to Baltimore. I knew it was Torrey Hunter and I was going to play center field, and I was really nervous. When I got to the clubhouse that day, the first guy out the door was Torrey Hunter, put his arm around me and said, kid, it's your job. You're better. You're ready. And he just said, it just changed everything. I felt so comfortable, and it's been a terrific relationship ever since. That's pretty good stuff, fellas.
And it's clearly made the Angels a better team, much as the move of Beltran to right field has made the Mets a better team. I was talking to Carlos Beltran the other day, and he said he planned to talk to Torrey when the Angels came in about the move, since they both have now done the same thing, vacating center and moving to right. They've always had a pretty good relationship. Jason Bay takes a strike. Pagan running, steals the base easily. The Mets' second stolen base of the night. Pagan's 11th of the year.
Pagan could have trotted and stolen that base. What a jump. No, this is it's a strong throw, but this bag is just swiped, and Herron way slow getting it home.
Well, it's 12 steals Herron's allowed this year. The Mets lead the National League in steals. They have 70 now for the year. And Bay takes one the other way and fouls it off 0-2. By the way, Eric Ibar could use a little stick him in his glove.
I'm a little bit too loose sometimes.
I mean, he dropped the pop-up by Murphy, which was a very tough play that went for a double. And then this line drive off Pagan's bat hit the glove and bounced away.
Get the hand grips, get those hands strong.
He used to call Lester Lyles. Remember the cornerback for the Raiders? He used to have the stick-em all over his jersey. Did I get the name wrong? Lester Hayes.
I was going to say.
Yeah, Lester Hayes. Here's the 1-2. Lined into center field. On comes Wells. It'll drop for a base hit. Pagan read it well. He's around third. He'll score easily with the second New York run. Jason Bay with an RBI single, and it's 2-0 New York. Well, Jason Bay drives in his 13th run of the year as the stolen base pays off for Pagan.
Well, starting to hit a little bit, isn't he? Bit by bit. A little bit out in front there, but just kind of pokes it into center field. He'll take it. And Pagan gets an excellent read. And I'm asking you one question here. Why is he sliding? He must be feeling good. Duda gave him the upside.
He was just in a sliding mood. You know, after the other night when he didn't slide, maybe he's going to just make sure he slides all the time now. Duda took a call third strike his first time up. Mets now with 2 runs and 5 hits off Herron. And the way the Angels don't score for Herron, he might feel as though it's already too much. Bay takes off. Conger's throw has no chance. And the Mets are just stealing Herron blind. A huge jump for Bay that time for his 6th steal.
Well, he's slow home, and he's got to pay attention. And this is what the Mets can do. And you can't tell me that speed doesn't count and stolen bases aren't important. If you've got a team that can put that kind of pressure on pitchers, it changes the whole complexion of the game.
You can almost see the way he hangs the ball behind him when he comes out of his stretch, how slow he is to the plate. Duda bounces one off the glove of Brandon and into right field, and that'll bring Jason Bay home. And it's 3-0 New York.
Well, I don't know how they're going to rule this. In my book, it's an error. And they made two errors last night, and this is a club that we said at the top that isn't a team that makes a lot of errors.
Well, Brandon has always been a defensively challenged player.
They have not played well defensively in this series so far, and that's a big clank.
But the stolen base is really a key in this inning as well. Both stolen bases have now produced runs. Brandon contributing with the error. No RBI for Duda, but 2 runs are home in the inning and still nobody out. And don't discount Duda taking off. He already has a stolen base, and he's not as slow as you might think for a big guy. And the Mets obviously have a really good read on Herron right now. Molino bounced into a fielder's choice his first time up. "13 steals against him, 3 of them tonight." Mets have 5 in the first 2 games of this series. 1-1 to Polino. And Ronnie hits a double play ball to short. High bar to Kendrick and on to first for the 6-4-3 double play. So 2 out and nobody on, and Pelfrey will come to bat. So Pelfrey now 3 runs to the good. Grounded out to first base his first time up. By the way, Mike was the only one of the Mets starting pitchers who was not out for bunting practice today before the game.
He was a starter.
Right. Out to right field, and Torrey Hunter is there waiting. And that retires the side, but the Mets post a pair, helped out by a couple of stolen bases and an error. And after 4, it's 3-0 Mets. Is there a better site in New York than that?
Oh, that's sweet.
How do we get that great 360 look? That's just wonderful. We have great technology here.
How do we get that helicopter over there at this hour?
The 5th inning is brought to you by Ford. Check out the best-selling vehicles with the best-selling values in America. Vernon Wells leads off the 5th inning. Mike Pelfrey now with a 3-run lead. Throws a first pitch strike, and he's been doing that all night. Wells grounded out to third base his first time up. Howie Kendrick and Russell Brandon to follow for the Angels in the 5th. And the fastball in tight, 1-1. Got your nightly no-hitter alert. Popped up on the infield. And Justin Turner waiting for it to come down. Uses the small glove to make the grab, 1 out. Your no-hitter alert tonight is in Cleveland, where Carlos Carrasco has no-hit the Pirates through the first 5. Carlos Carrasco pitched a brilliant game against the Yankees his last start, beat him 1-0. So now Howie Kendrick, who grounded out to third base his first time up. Pelfrey's thrown a first pitch strike to 11 of 14 batters. Make it 11 of 15. Ball 1 to Kendrick, who grounded out to third his first trip.
And that is now the most important game of the night for Met fans is Atlanta, and they're sitting there down 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th and against Texas.
Brian McCann hit a home run to make that a little closer. Meanwhile, the poor Florida Marlins just can't get out of their own way. They're down 4-1 in the 5th against Tampa Bay. They won 1 game in June. They're 1-16 in the month.
The old Giants, San Francisco Giants, as you said last night, the June swoon.
You see they sent Chris Coughlin down? 2009 National League Rookie of the Year, now in the minor leagues. Weak ground ball, and Turner right in front of it. Throws out Kendrick 2 away. So Turner getting a chance to play his natural position of second base tonight, handling 2 plays easily here in the 5th inning. Justin was showing me his gloves tonight. His second baseman's glove is about a ½ inch shorter than his third baseman's glove.
Right, because of the transfer on the double play. Second basemen traditionally have the smallest gloves of all the infielders.
Behind the bag, Murphy, who was playing on the right side of the infield, throws out Brandon to end the inning. Now the Mets did that in Atlanta. The overlapping infielder is the third baseman. So it's a 5-3 putout to end the inning.
Who's the genius?
By Mazda. Zoom, zoom.
I love the way you say that.
I always feel as though I'm lacking a little
No,
bit. That there should be a little more zoominess in there.
No, it's the subtleness of it.
I mean, should it be like zoom?
No, that's terrible. Stop it.
Bang, zoom.
Notice you're hamming it up now. You start thinking. The key to acting is to be yourself.
I thought it was timing. Oh, that's comedy. Wouldn't know anything about that. Reyes singled, stole a base, scored a run his last time up, and Herron falls behind him 2-0. Well, I will say, you have far more acting experience than I do.
Oh, of acting, yeah, right. I just memorized my lines. I was terrified.
Well, it was the best possible act. You were playing yourself.
And most actors would say that's the hardest thing to do. Who am I going to tell Robert De Niro you're wrong? Bobby, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
I thought you were a natural at playing you. I mean, who else could have delivered those lines?
Well, I had
Reyes pulls it foul.
I had a lot of coaching from Mr. David.
But you're very coachable.
Yes.
You're coachable in baseball. You're coachable in broadcasting.
I listen.
I mean, when our producer Greg Pickard talks, you listen.
Particularly when picks games.
Reyes is on with a leadoff walk, so Reyes is on base for the second time. The last guy in the world, Herron, who walks very few, wanted to give a free pass to. That's his first of the night. Well, the Mets have been running wild tonight against Dan Herron. Let's see if Mike Scioscia is going to pitch out here to try and give him some help.
Or is Herron going to throw over a little bit?
Mets have 3 steals, including Reyes' 25th in the 3rd inning, and there's a throw over.
He's going to have to change the program here. All 3 stolen bases have scored for the Mets.
Turner is struck out and grounded to short 0 for 2.
Yeah, let's see if it affects his command now. Having to worry about the Reyes on first. Mike Scioscia is very much in control, is he not?
Well, he was a catcher. And an awfully good one. So who best to try and figure out how to stop the running game? Carlos Beltran, who's got an RBI hit already in this game, on deck. Only one major league manager has had a longer current tenure than Mike Scioscia, and that's Tony La Russa in St. Louis. And there's the pitch out. So he's tried the throw over, the step off, and now the pitch out. So he is trying something different. Scioscia took over as manager of the Angels in 2000 after Terry Collins was let go as Angels manager the final month of the '99 season. And Mike's been there ever since. There goes Reyes. Conger's throw hits the runner. And Reyes has his second stolen base of the night. 26 on the year now for Reyes, and the Mets have 4 stolen bases in this game. And he's just not giving Conger a chance.
And don't tell me it's not rattling Herron. He's behind the count 2-1. We're worrying about Reyes. And the one strike he threw was a hanging slider. So speed kills. Oh, that was a pitch he should have ripped right there. And you saw the reaction of Turner after that swing and a miss. That was right there for him to hit up. Hanging slider. He just swung right through it.
Trying to at least get Reyes over to third. And going that way and fouling it off. Well, Herron is a guy who works deep into games. We mentioned 216 innings or more each of the last 6 years.
This is a Met lineup that's scrappy, that fights off pitches. There's not a lot of power. He's on his 84th pitch right here.
And Turner takes it the other way for a base hit. Reyes being waved around third. He'll score easily. Justin Turner with an RBI single, and it's 4-0 New York. 4 stolen bases, and every one has led to a run.
Well, clearly Herron has just had his apple cart upset with all these stolen bases, and now he's just lost command. He's up with his pitches. This one's up again, right down the pipe. Beautiful hitting by Turner with 2 strikes. He loves to go that way. Every intention was to go the opposite field to advance Reyes at the least, but he does the best thing possible. He drives him in.
Second run scored for Reyes tonight, and now Beltran takes a strike, and for Turner that's 29 runs batted in, and he's now hitting over 400 with runners in scoring position. It's been quite a story that the rookie Justin Turner has written this year. Beltran tries to hold the swing and does. A ball and a strike. Carlos singled to center, driving a run in the third. That was the first New York run. The Mets plated 2 in the fourth, and they've added a run here in the fifth. Murphy on deck. Turner's got 5 steals this year, and so at this point, Herron has to be wary about everybody. The Mets have had as many as 5 steals in a game this year. They did that against the Phillies with Cole Hamels on the mound. Like Herron using a little more of a slide step that time, and it's 2-1.
And almost didn't come to a stop there in a stretch.
I'm telling you, if Bob Davidson was here, he'd already have a couple of balks tonight.
And Beltran cracks one to deep right field. Hunter looks up and is way out of here. Onto the Shea Bridge. What a bomb from Carlos Beltran. A 2-run shot, and it's 6-0 New York. Number 10 for Beltran, and one of the few that has reached the Shea Bridge since this place opened in 2009.
There's the apple. Good to see the apple. And that'll get a smile out of Carlos. I tell you what, that's going to be it for Herron. And it's all about the stolen base here. The Mets 4 stolen bases. Wants it in. Look what this ball is. Right out over the plate where Carlos loves it, and he knew it from the get-go. What a shot.
Well, scattered people at catch of the day out behind the bridge. Most runs Herron's given up in a game this season as the Mets put a 6 spot on him. And Isunori Takahashi will come out of the Angels bullpen. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Metro PCS. Right now, get $50 off any phone when you add a line for just $35 a month only at Metro PCS. Well, Carlos Beltran all smiles. That may be as far as we have ever seen him hit a baseball, up onto the Shea Bridge to knock Dan Herron out of the game. Adam Dunn hit one up there, and it may be the only one we've seen on the bridge as opposed to in front of the bridge. We've seen Ike Davis come close a couple of times. Isanori Takahashi on to pitch. Mark Trumbo in at first base on a double switch. Trumbo will bat ninth. Takahashi will hit seventh. Daniel Murphy with nobody out and nobody on. Taking outside from Takahashi, who faced two batters last night and retired them both.
Didn't Dunn hit that one off of Santana? That bomb? I think he did.
And a strike to Murphy, 1-1. Murphy has a pop fly double and a line drive out. That's what's called evening out in the end. Your pop flies are supposed to be outs and your line drives are supposed to be hits. Sometimes it just doesn't work out that way.
Nope. But then life isn't fair.
Well, if as long as it's 50-50, that is fair. Angel Pagan on deck. And Takahashi comes inside and Murphy fouls it off. So Herron throws 89 pitches over 4 innings plus. He allowed 6 runs and 7 hits, a walk and 2 strikeouts, a home run. Herron, who came in with the 3rd best ERA in the American League, gets pummeled, but more importantly gets trampled by the stolen bases. And Murphy down swinging against Takahashi for the first out. And you know, you said it as was going on, Keith. It was clear that the stolen bases were taking a big toll on Herron's psyche.
Well, I always think in terms of that Cardinal team that stole so many bases that I was a part of. And, you know, you just don't have teams like that anymore. And the Mets are the closest thing to it. And I'm sorry, pitchers aren't used to it. They're going to get rattled. It does divide their attention. It is significant. It is a weapon.
Pagan takes the changeup for ball 1. Angel lined a single off the glove of Ibar. Then he stole a base and scored a run in the 4th. Mets have 4 steals. They've each led to a run. 2 by Reyes, 1 for Pagan, and 1 for Bay. And then Beltran with that 2-run bomb. 1-1 to Pagan. Beltran hit the 3 home runs in Colorado on May the 12th. He had only hit 1 home run since, until that one, which is his 10th of the year. So the Mets finally have a home run hitter in double figures. Fastball strike 1-2. Mets now have 46 home runs, so Beltran has hit 10 of the 46. Well, this is a team that has relied on their speed and their execution for what success they've gained over the last month or so.
And they've got a ballpark where they can execute that. Line drive hitters, speed. I can't throw defense in there because the defensive players are hurt on the corners. You see Terry Collins right there. You've got Ike Davis. His glove has really been missed at first base.
Well, what they've had with Tejada here is second short center field. The solid up the middle defense. Pagan down swinging on the changeup by Takahashi. So back-to-back strikeouts for Taka. 2 out and nobody on.
And the outfield defense since Pagan's been back is outstanding with Bay in left, Beltran in right, and Pagan patrolling center. So the Mets have been hurt a lot in their losses at first base, and not so much by errors, but by balls that got through that I really feel if Ike was out there playing, he would be able to cover. You know, and I'm talking about down the line in the hole too. And you know, instead of that being a base hit or a double down the line, it's an out. And third base, Turner has filled in nicely. So since David has been out. But if and when those 2 guys come back eventually, that's just going to strengthen the defense of this ball club.
Bay drove in a run with a base hit his last time up. He's been getting base hits, but it seems as though everything's down toward the end of the bat.
He has that top hand he flips over too quick, and I just got to think that everything's speeding up with him.
Another one toward the hole on a base hit for Bay. Jason with another 2-hit game. That's the 3rd time in the last 4 games he's had multiple hits. And the Mets have their 3rd hit of the inning, their 8th of the night.
So Lucas Duda likes All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix. That's his song.
That was, what, 20 years before he was born?
Lucas, do go.
Duda has taken a call third strike and then reached on an error, so he's 0 for 2. And Duda pops up the first pitch. That'll come back out of play. 0-1.
Well, Lucas very deep. Excuse me, very deep in the box. And he's a dead pull hitter. You can see that top hand coming over. And that's why I think he hits a lot of balls in the ground. And he got a couple hits into right field, a base hit to right field in Atlanta, which I thought was promising. But still, he's a little bit out in front.
Now, I don't know how much you watched him during his heyday in Pittsburgh and Boston, but did he come over with his top hand then?
Yes, this is the same swing. I just think that it's been such a prolonged slump that I think he's just mentally he's forcing it.
But if you do that with your top hand coming over, how do you get the lift to hit home runs?
He's doing it too quick. Just like a golfer bringing his top hand over too quick, he's going to snap hook. It's all about the rhythm and the timing of the breaking of the wrist. And he's always been a streaky hitter anyway. We were in Pittsburgh and there were articles about his struggles and about when he's hot, and when he's cold, he's cold. But this has been
But if you go even back to spring training, and he was hitting well toward the end of spring training right before he got hurt, everything was a line drive or a ground ball. There were very few fly balls, very little lift in his swing, and it just makes you wonder where that's gone. Duda hits one out to center field, and Wells has it lined up. And that retires a side. A productive inning for the Mets as they add 3-2 of them on Beltran's home run. The fifth inning brought to you by Ford. Check out the best-selling vehicles with the best-selling values in America. 6-0 New York after 5. Nothing lead for Mike Pelfrey, who has been terrific tonight. Was perfect through the first 3 innings, gave up a couple of hits, wrapped around a double play in the 4th, and got the side in order in the 5th. So Pelfrey's been right on top of his game, and for his 3rd straight start, he has yet to walk a batter. He's never had a 3-start stretch in his career without a walk. Hank Conger takes a first pitch strike. Pelfrey bidding for his 4th win of the year and well on his way tonight. Mark Trumbo is hitting 9th in the order on deck. And the curveball from Pelfrey misses, a ball and a strike.
Well, there's no reason why Mike can't go 9. I mean, he's just cruising right along. He's throwing strikes. And if you notice his motion, there's not a whole lot of bursts of energy. He's very fluid, very easy motion, hardly any follow through, almost effortless.
Well, that's a pretty line to look at for Pelfrey. And now with a 6-run lead. Conger hits one well out to left center field, but Bay is there.
Del
One away.
Del Monte.
Right off the shelf, huh? One out and nobody out. Let's check in with Kevin.
Well, guys, all week we've kind of got a little look into the guys and found out who the most influential person is on their baseball life. Could have been anybody, and we've had some different answers. Asked Justin Turner that question, and he said, there's no question it's my dad. My dad has been my coach, was my coach all the way up through freshman year in high school, and he's always pushed me, always motivated me, always, kind of taken me to that next level. I go 3 for 4 and maybe feel a little bit content, but he would be the one pushing me. He said the thing is about that, though, he also knows when to pick me up. And, give you an example. Last week in Pittsburgh, Justin struggling just a touch. Dad sent a nice email in the morning and said, hey, I know it's tough. Keep your head up. And by the way, something to the effect of, I just want you to know how proud of you I am. And, Justin said, I really appreciated that. We talk all the time, but to wake up and see that on my phone, that meant a lot to me. His dad, so into it. He watches all the games, and then he TiVos them and watches them again. I don't know if he realized that email was going to go public, but sorry, Mr. Turner, it just did. So his dad, guys, that's the most influential for Justin. Let's go back to you.
Trumbo hits one well out to right center, chasing back Pagan near the wall, and it's out of here.
Wow.
Mark Trumbo, who hit 36 home runs in the minor leagues last year, hits his 12th of the season. And that breaks up the shutout for Mike Pelfrey. It's now 6-1.
Anytime anybody goes to the opposite field over there by that Xerox sign in the bullpen, that's impressive. That's out where that 415 sign is. And that's a strong man. A slider, watch him go right with it, stayed flat. That's a long way.
Now the rookie Trumbo leads the Angels in home runs. He now has 12. 6-1, and a call strike to Myceris Turris, who is 1 for 2, single to center in the 4th, the first hit off Pelfrey. That's 13 home runs that Pelfrey's given up this year, and a comebacker, and Mike handles it perfectly. 1 out. He's now given up more home runs this year than he did all of last year.
We'll take a look at the swing. There he's leveraging off the back foot. Drives right in at it. Easy, effortless swing. One of the guys that lets go with one hand. How about that? A lot of hitters today, they hold on to the bat in the full swing like Carlos Beltran does from the left side.
So 2 out and nobody on. Here's Eric Ibar, who's 0 for 2. Twice has hit the ball down to first base. One of those 2 times, Lucas Duda started a 3-6-3 double play. On the surface, that is a bad thing that he's given up more home runs this year than he has last year. But it's almost as though he has traded the occasional home run for more strike throwing. His pitch count is down. His walks are down. And heck, especially when you have a 6-0 lead, you'd rather be giving up a solo homer than starting to walk people.
I think he's evolved into an entirely different pitcher than we've seen from the beginning. And Mike has been a constant evolution. And I like the fact that he's throwing like this, and there's the final out right there, another 1-3 in your scorecard.
Well, his strike-to-ball ratio has been fantastic. Mark Trumbo, though, with a long home run to break up the shutout. 6-1 Mets as we play in the 6th. Lincoln and the 2011 Lincoln MKX. Ronnie Polino will lead off for the Mets in the bottom of the 6th against Isanori Takahashi, who came on in relief of Dan Herron, who got knocked out after 4 innings plus. The Mets have been on a pretty good run of success against top-notch starting pitchers, whether it was Gallardo in Milwaukee or Mahalam and Morton in Pittsburgh, and now Herron here against the Angels. Pitchers who had been on pretty good runs of success until they ran into the Mets. And a call strike to Polino. Polino is hit into a fielder's choice and grounded into a double play 0 for 2. Mike Pelfrey on deck, and then Jose Reyes here in the 6th. Takahashi has not been all that heavily used by the Angels this year, but here he is pitching back-to-back nights back in his old haunts at Citi Field.
Well, Steve was a starting pitcher in his day, and can be the long man here in a game that got away in them early. He is in to gobble up innings, obviously, and save the bullpen.
He'd only worked 29 innings coming into the day. And especially lately, he's been kind of sitting around waiting for work, but the work has found him tonight. He was a great jack of all trades for the Mets last year, whether it was in long relief or as a starting pitcher or ultimately as a closer. Think about the arc of his season in his first year in the U.S. Now the 2-2 to Polino. And he takes a fastball for a call, 3rd strike. So Takahashi surprising Polino with a 2-2 fastball. That's his 3rd strikeout, facing 5 batters in relief. 1 out and nobody on.
Well, he's crafty, and he caught Polino looking for that screwball. And what's the counter to that? Fastball inside corner. Pelfrey's got to get that batting average up. What would you call that? We called it 20,000 leagues under the sea.
That's one out to right, and Torrey Hunter's right there. And so Pelfrey's 0 for 3. In fact, every Mets starting pitcher since Chris Young went on the disabled list, every Mets starting pitcher has a batting average of 100 or under. And I asked Terry Collins today, I said, does that worry you at all, or is it just about the bunting? And he said, you know, it's great for pitchers to get hits, but ultimately we need to be able to move them along in sacrifice situations. That's what matters the most.
If you have a pitcher that can hit, that's just an added bonus. It's all about what's most important is the pitcher has got to help himself and help his team be able to sacrifice.
Here's Reyes, who's had another Reyes-type night. A single and a walk, 2 stolen bases, 2 runs scored. He now has 53 runs scored. He was 2 behind Ryan Braun when the evening began for the league lead. Off the end of the bat down to first, and Trumbull plays that spinner. That retires the side. So Takahashi with 2 good innings in relief. 6-1 New York after 6. go to the 7th inning. He'll face the heart of the Angels batting order, Hunter, Abreu, and Wells. Hunter is flying to right and double to left, 1 for 2, as one of the 3 hits off Pelfrey tonight. And another first pitch strike for Pelfrey. That's 24 balls and 52 strikes. That's better than 68% strikes. And for Pelfrey, that's spectacular.
It's wonderful. And here he is cruising right into the 7th inning.
So a constantly evolving pitcher has found a comfort level these last few starts. Bobby Abreu on deck. He had the good start in Milwaukee, albeit he gave up a home run to Prince Fielder. He had a really good start in Pittsburgh, albeit he gave up a home run to Brandon Wood. And he's had a great start tonight. Again, a home run, this one to Mark Trumbo. Grounded foul, it's 1-2 to Hunter. But he has not walked a batter in any of the 3 starts. Bobby Caseva up in the bullpen for the Angels.
That'd be a great name for a closer.
Or a melon. Well, that's Casaba.
Easy.
1-2. Fouled away.
Caseva.
Oh, I see, like a saver.
Yeah.
I completely missed your drift.
I just see John Sterling with that one.
Don't give him any ideas. Here's the 1-2. And the splitter is down, 2-2. Often wondered, does John have a writer?
I don't know.
That'd be interesting to find out.
I bet you he does it on his own.
Because he's so creative.
He is very creative.
And Hunter down on strikes. Pelfrey gets Hunter. 4th strikeout for Mike. 1 down in the 7th. It's happy hour, Pix 11 style. And Charlie Sheen serving up the laughs. Get a double shot of 2.5 men. Weeknights at 7 and 7:30 on Pix 11. Isn't that 5 men?
He's adios now, isn't he?
So that's 3 men. I mean, if it's 2.5 men and they do it twice.
Aston Kutcher's going to take it over.
Right. Bobby Abreu is twice flied out to left and to center. He's 0 for 2.
I wonder how Demi's going to handle that. Taking on that role.
Maybe she'll be on the set, rooting him on.
They've been together for ages, haven't they?
All the way back to punked. You ever get punked?
No.
Yet?
Nope. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. I guess it's more of a Hollywood thing. 2-1 to Abreu. Kind of like candid camera for celebrities, except a lot meaner. And it's a fastball strike, and it's 2-2 to Abreu. 93 from Pelfrey. That's about where he's topped out tonight.
And that's what's impressive is that he's got this easy motion, and he's getting velocity. You know, throwing 93, 92, 91 consistently, and just nice, easy, fluid motion.
2-2, and Abreu rips one into right. So he turned on that 93-mile-an-hour fastball, and he has the 4th Angels hit of the night. A 1-out single in the 7th.
Well, this one just stays up. No sink. You can see right down the pipe.
Well, you remember the conversation that Kevin had last year with Pelfrey's college coach, Gene Stevenson, where Gene was talking about how when he was at Wichita State, Pelfrey was throwing 98 miles an hour. So, you know velocity is a big part of his game, or at least it was. Here's Vernon Wells with 1 out and 1 on. And the slider misses for ball 1. Wells grounded to third and popped up to second base, 0 for 2. Howie Kendrick on deck. Braves tied up that game in Atlanta. RBI double by Ugla in the 8th. 4-4 going to the 9th with Texas. Here's a strike. 1-1.
Well, there's Mike's numbers. And you can tag an L on him. He's 0-1 over those 3 starts. Looks like he's going to get to 1-1, hopefully.
See what we've highlighted there? The zeros in the walk column.
Yep.
It's very nifty, isn't it? The way we highlighted those.
Nifty. I can think of a better word than that.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me think on it.
We'll stick with nifty for now. Pedro Beato up in the bullpen for the Mets. Two and one to Vernon Wells. And that just missed. 3-1. See, now that we put up that nifty highlighting of the zeros,
Yep.
might be an issue.
Very quiet in the stadium.
Is it that, or is it we're just tucked back a little bit
I
from
don't
the
know.
action?
All I hear is like the people are just talking to each other in conversation.
I just think they feel comfortable. The runner goes, and Wells lifts one down the right field line. Duda gives it a look, but that'll be out of play. So Abreu was on the move, and Wells fouled it off. 3-2. Well, Abreu was running on 3-1. He runs 3-2, and Wells bangs one to short. Reyes will have to go to first with it. So they stay out of the double play by putting Abreu in motion. And that's the second out.
Well, Pelf is in complete command here. He is just, there's been no adjustment by the Angel lineup. He has just dominated over these 6 2/3, about to be 7.
Now Howie Kendrick is 0 for 2, grounded to third, grounded to second. And a late swing at the fastball, 0-1.
94, he kind of humped up on that one a little bit upstairs. Threw it by him. He's got a lot left in the tank.
His pitch count is low. He's only throwing 94 pitches tonight, working in the 7th inning. Alberto Callaspo has come out on deck to pinch hit for the pitcher if Kendrick can keep the inning going. And it's bounced to short. Nice big hop for Reyes to handle. And he guns down Kendrick to end the inning. Another strong one for Mike Pelfrey. A hit and one left. 7th inning stretch time at Citi Field. 6-1 New York. Time to take a Dunkin' Donuts coffee break. Remember to get dunked. Go to getdunked.com. That's GETDUNKD.com. That's up 6-1 as they come to bat against the new Angels pitcher, Bobby Caseva.
Caseva's 6'3", 220 pounds. And look at this, a 34 round draft pick back in 2004, making it to the big leagues. Came up last year, went 1-2 with a 315 earned run average and 9 relief appearances.
Hurt his shoulder this spring, began the year on the disabled list, and then 18 appearances in the minor leagues. He's just been called up this week. Justin Turner up for the 4th time. Turner 1 for 3, single to right to drive in a run in the 5th. That's got 6 runs and 7 hits in 4 innings plus against Danny Herron. 4 stolen bases, they all turned into runs, and a bomb of a home run by Carlos Beltran. Little dribbler came off the foot of Turner, and it's a foul ball, 1-1. It'll be Turner, then Carlos Beltran, and Daniel Murphy for the Mets in the home 7th. Murphy's always anxious to get to the plate, isn't he?
That's what he loves to do. It's his stock and trade. Very singular frame of mind.
1-1 from Caseva, and Turner takes up and in. Bobby Caseva, as Keith mentioned, a 34th round pick. He grew up in Florida, and it looked like he was going to be a 1st or 2nd rounder. But then he hurt his elbow playing football. He was a football quarterback, and he needed Tommy John surgery, so he didn't pitch his senior year in high school, and that's why he went from being a 1st or 2nd round pick to being a 34th round pick. Could have gone to LSU to pitch, but decided to sign instead with the Angels. Now 25 years old, and he walks Turner to lead off the 7th inning. Only the 2nd walk in this game. Herron walked 1, and now Caseva walks his first batter. Video recap brought to you by Mazda Zoom Zoom.
Don't base hit by Carlos right there. Drove in Reyes with the first Met run. And don't throw it. Wow. That's a long one. Big night for Carlos. 2 for 3 with 3 RBI.
One of the longest home runs we've seen at Citi Field. One of the very few that has gotten to the bridge in right center, the Shea Bridge. So a 3 RBI night for Carlos. He has 43 runs batted in now. And he bounces this one on the right side for Kendrick. Gets the out at 2nd. The return by Ibar not nearly in time. Boy, Turner goes in hard at 2nd base, doesn't he?
He's a hard-nosed player.
Well, he's a coach's son, and he plays like it.
He reminds me a lot of Ty Wigington. He knows how to play the game. That's clean. He's able to touch the bag and disrupt the throw.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Daniel Murphy is 1 for 3 and a pop fly double back in the 2nd. Since then he's lined out and struck out. Mets have 8 hits. Everybody on the bench appreciates those things. There's there's no stat for going in hard at 2nd base. There's no positive stat for advancing a runner with a ground out. But everybody in that dugout understands how much it means to try and manufacture runs.
If you really want to look at it, you get penalized for advancing a runner. It's an at bat.
To shortstop, Ibar with the sweeping throw. And Kendrick turns the double play, 6-4-3 to end the inning. So it turns into a 7-pitch inning for Bobby Caseva. And we go to the 8th at Citi Field with the Mets up 6-1. We go into the 8th inning. It's been all Mets tonight as they dominated another fine pitcher tonight in Dan Herron. Scored 6 runs against him in 4 innings plus. Alberto Callaspo will be the pinch hitter for the Angels in the 7th spot, batting for the pitcher, and he takes high from Mike Pelfrey for ball 1. And it's been a good night for Pelfrey, throwing a lot of strikes in this game.
Another good night for Mets starting pitching. And really, Capiano threw 6 innings yesterday and gave up 3 runs. Not a bad start by any stretch of the imagination. So this starting rotation has just been outstanding.
Over the last 22 games, a 2.55 ERA for the starters. The unfortunate part about that is that with that 2.55 starters ERA, they're only 11-11 over that span.
With a ball club that's hitting and scoring runs.
Well, the bullpen's been a problem. The defense has been an occasional problem. Callaspo hits it out to left, and Bay makes a nice running catch. 1 down in the 8th. And the Mets really taking advantage of their speed tonight as well. That's been a huge part of this game.
Well, another sinker away, and Bay, who patrols left field quite well, makes an easy play of it. Yes, you're right, Gare. The 4 stolen bases completely disrupted the rhythm of Danny Herron, who's having a terrific year, coming into the game with an ERA below, almost below 2.50.
And Conger pops one up. Polino coming back, hoping for a play, and gets there to make the grab right at the screen. Beautifully done by Ronnie Polino. 2 out.
We might get a complete game tonight. Why not? Nice play.
Almost made a friend there on the other side of the screen.
I got it. You take it. They had it like a mirror image.
I think that gentleman was quite happy that Ronnie caught the ball. Pelfrey just threw his 100th pitch of the game. Now Mark Trumbo up for the 2nd time. He's responsible for the only Angels run in this game, a long home run to right center beyond the 415 mark. His 12th of the year. Jason Isringhausen getting ready in the Mets bullpen. Pelfrey's fallen behind a couple of times in this inning, but he comes back with his hardest fastball of the night to get a strike on Trumbo. Myceris Turris would be next. Pelfrey's allowed just a run on 4 hits and hasn't walked anybody. But now he's behind on Trumbo, 3-1. Well, Trumbo took him deep the last time, but he's going to have to challenge him again here.
Can't beat him.
The fastball fouled away at 3-2.
Yeah, rear back and fire. It's a home run at 6-2. There you go, right there. Mets starters.
Mets have lowered their staff ERA for the season under 4. It had been over 4 for most of the year. Pelfrey's 3-2, and Trumbo reaches and fouls it off, and that's the hardest pitch that Pelfrey's thrown tonight. Voting's open for the 2011 All-Star Game in Phoenix. Help send your favorite Mets to this year's All-Star Game by voting up to 25 times at Mets.com. Cast your ballot now for your 2011 All-Stars. Vote often, vote today. Vote Mets at Mets.com. Again, the 3-2, and Trumbo again reaches for one and lines a base hit.
Wow, that ball was almost a foot outside.
So Trumbo, who came off the bench in a double switch in the 5th inning, is now 2 for 2.
This ball is just about 6 inches outside off the plate. Let go with one hand. Nicely done. Nothing that Duda can do there.
5 hits off Pelfrey now. 2 out and a runner at first for Myceris Turris, who's 1 for 3. Single to center back in the 4th. Pelfrey had 107 pitches for the night, so he'll probably get at least this batter, maybe one more. And it's hit out to left field. Should be easy for Jason Bay. And so Mike Pelfrey with his first 8-inning outing of the season. A big success. He's up 6-1. 2011 Lincoln MKX.
He's ruining that hat.
Out-of-town scores brought to you by Hyundai. Join the movement at your Hyundai dealers. Games involving National League East teams. Mike Morse has been red hot. His 2-run homer put the Nats in front. They've won 8 in a row. Braves tied it up in the 8th on Uggla's RBI double. They're now in the 10th. The Marlins about to lose for the 17th time in 18 games in the month of June. And the Phillies playing tonight in Seattle, where they lost last night, beaten by Michael Pineda, who held him hitless for the first 5 1/3. Trevor Bell will pitch the bottom of the 8th inning for the Angels.
Oh, look at the sombrero. You're ruining a perfectly good hat, young man.
It's a rally cap.
You got to look like a baseball player.
Well, rally caps are fine, but you're supposed to use them when your team's behind.
Yeah, right. So there's no need for it.
Maybe he's a closet Angels fan wearing a Met cap. Angel Pagan leads off the last of the 8th against Bell, who has spent some time in the minor leagues this year, and he comes up and in on Pagan. Bell making just his 11th appearance. He was working as a starter down in the minor leagues. Made 3 starts for Salt Lake City. Pagan tonight 1 for 3. Singled, stole a base, scored a run in the 4th. And Bell throws a strike, 2-1. Jason Bay on deck, and then Lucas Duda here in the bottom of the 8th. Trevor Bell grew up in California as an Angels fan. He was born on a date that most Angels fans would like to forget. October the 12th, 1986. That was the day the Angels played Game 5 of the ALCS against the Red Sox, and Donnie Moore gave up the famous home run to Dave Henderson that extended that game, and the Red Sox came from behind and won that series, leading to their World Series date with the Mets. That was the greatest postseason year in history, with those 2 LCS and the World Series. 2 high, ball 4, and Pagan's on with a walk.
Well, Jason, 2 for 3 tonight with a stolen base and a run score. Look how deep in the box he is. He is as deep as he can get. You can see he's in the back line. Now, I haven't got an issue with that at all. To me, I hit with my front foot where the angle of the home plate started to angle back in the 45-degree angle. That's where my front foot was. I would like to see Jason get closer to the plate. Maybe because he's getting the ball so much, as Gary noted, on the end of the bat, that maybe, 2 inches closer, 3 max, it can make a difference of hitting the ball off the end of the bat as opposed to hitting it a little more where the wood is. Now, me, where I hit, I moved up in front of the plate. I never moved deeper in the box. Where I stood at the plate, that's where I was most comfortable. When I had to move up in front of the plate, a guy like Bruce Sutter with that wicked split finger, that made me uncomfortable as a hitter. Because, believe it or not, Gary, when you move closer to the pitcher, no matter where you are in the box, and say you, in Bay's case, if Bay were to move up in front of the plate, that would be around 2 feet. That 2 feet is significant, and you'd be surprised how closer that pitcher looks and how in your mind you think the ball's coming in faster. So I don't have an issue with him staying deep in the box. He's always hit there. That's where he's comfortable. I just think he should move closer to the plate, crowd the plate a little more.
I think it's interesting that when he steps in the box, he taps the inside part of the plate. Most guys tap the outside part to make sure they can reach out there, right?
It is interesting. Lou Brock once told me Lou was pretty cerebral and philosophical, and he always wondered. He pulled me aside as a youngster. He said, "Do you ever wonder why some hitters tap the outside? Most do, but some tap the inside corner." He goes, "Are they tapping the inside corner because that's their strength, or is it their weakness?"
Double play ball to short. Ibar to Kendrick and on to first for the 6-4-3 double play. Third turned by the Angels tonight.
I always, when I was against a right-hander, I always touched the outside corner because I wanted to make sure I could reach it. But there really was no. Here's the swing. That's a hanging slider, and see, it's off the end of the bat. This is a hanging slider. Watch it. It cuts right down the middle. Well, he's got it. It's not that much off the end of the bat. You know what? You can see the frustration. He knows that's a pitch he should crush. And, I'm at a loss, Gary, as to what the problem is. And I just got to believe it's up there in that gray matter between the ears. It just wears on you day in, day out, and you press.
At the same time, though, he's got 7 hits in the last 4 games. Does that help?
Well, it depends how Jason feels in his mind. Did I hit that ball good, or was it a lucky hit? Do I feel with that swing that I'm coming back? I mean, you can get a blooper, or a bleeder, and you're in a slump, and you're just grateful. Thank you, Lord, for giving me a hit. I feel terrible. I still feel bad at the plate. But you can go 0 for 4 with 4 line drives, and you're out of your slump. You hit the ball in the screws 4 times, and that's okay. I am out. I don't care about the 0 for in the paper tomorrow. I am out. I'm on my way. I made progress. I don't think Jason's gotten there yet.
3-1 to Duda, who's 0 for 3 tonight. And he hits one right to Ibar, who's had a busy night. And that retires the side. So now we go to the 9th at Citi Field. Mets on the verge of evening up this series. Got to get in your snack before it's too late. 6-1 as we go to the 9th. Napkins, anybody? Become the first Met to go 9 innings this year. Mets have had 2 complete games. Dylan G, a rain-shortened game, and R.A. Dickey, an 8-inning complete game loss. Eric Ibar leads off in the 9th and fouls off the first pitch. Let's look at the Adorama freeze frame. Adorama, located at 42 West 18th Street in New York City. Adorama, more than just a camera store.
Well, there's the freeze frame right there, and that is right on the screws. And as we said, he hit them where very few have hit them. Hit him where the big dinosaurs hit him.
Ibar is 0 for 3 tonight, 0 for 6 in this series. Hunter and Abreu to follow in the 9th. Pelfrey at 110 pitches right now. He's thrown as many as 116 in a game this year. And he gets ahead on Ibar 1-2. Pelfrey has thrown 9 innings 3 times in his career. Last year he did it against the Padres in what turned out to be an 11-inning game. His only 2 career complete games came in 2008. One-two to Ibar, and he struck him out with a curveball. It gets away, but Polino should have time, And throws out Ibar, 1 down. 5th strikeout of the night for Pelfrey. 1 out of the 9th.
Well, nice play. Slider, oh, it's a splitter. And Paulino blocks nicely and knows he has time.
Well, this is now the furthest that any Met pitcher has gone in a game this year. Here's Torrey Hunter, who's 1 for 3, doubled back in the 4th, one of only 5 hits against Mike tonight. And a fastball strike to get him ahead. Well, he has just been tremendous as a strike thrower. There are the 2 complete games. G went 6 innings in Chicago, and Dickey went 8 innings in Pittsburgh in those complete games. 1-1 to Hunter.
Nice little rest for the bullpen. Always sweet. You always got to think about the bullpen.
And Hunter pops it up. Playable in foul ground for Murphy. 2 out. Here's a great Father's Day gift idea. Let Dad kick back and relax with us when the Mets wrap up their homestand against the Angels. Starting tomorrow at 1, right here on Pix 11. So Mike Pelfrey 1 out from his 3rd career complete game, and everybody here at Citi Field pretty excited about that.
Well, it's such a rarity in today's game that it always gets a big charge from the audience. Well done, Mike. We're about to go to 4 and 5.
Bobby Abreu is 1 for 3, single to right in the 7th inning. Strike 1 to Abreu. And he's been throwing first pitch strikes all night long. Hasn't walked a batter. He's struck out 5. Strike 2. Away. Coming up next on Pix, it's the Pix 11 News at 10. And coming up next on SNY, it's Lincoln post-game live. Mike Pelfrey 1 strike away from finishing what he started. Misses 1-2.
And Texas went ahead 5-4 in the top of the 10th. And we're talking about a wild card here. I know it's very early.
That's to get within 3.5 of the Braves tonight. 1-2. And Abreu fouls it off again. That's 120 pitches now for Pelfrey. His career high is 124. He did that last year in August against the Astros in a 2-1 win.
Well, you got an off day Monday. You're going to run through the rotation, so Mike's going to have a full complement of days rest.
Next start will be in Texas next Friday. Again, the 1-2. Just missed with a curveball, 2-2. The thing about Abreu, he rarely goes out of the strike zone. That's why he's walked 100 times or more, 8 times in his career. Two. Past the mound, Turner to his right, and he boots it. And Abreu is aboard. And that might cost Pelfrey a chance for a complete game. We'll see.
I got my eyes fixed on Terry Collins. Let him go. Come on. Let him finish it up.
Routine play for Turner, just could not make it.
He rushed it because it wasn't hit that hard. And he knew it. He already had the look on his face that he knew he'd rushed it, and he's going to stick with Pelf.
Vernon Wells, the batter. He's 0 for 3. And Wells pops it up. This should do it. Duda calls, and the ball game is over. Mike Pelfrey throws the first 9-inning complete game by a Met this year. The third complete game of his career, a 5-hitter. And the Mets have evened up the series with the Angels. Third straight game for Pelfrey in which he did not walk a batter. 123 pitches. Job well done for Big Mike Pelfrey.
Well, he's the story here, but it all started with the offense, with that chip away offense of the Mets, with lacking the power, even though they got a big 2-run blast from Carlos Beltran, his 10th of the year. The first Met in double digits in home runs. They stole 4 bases. Jose Reyes 1 for 3, 2 runs scored. He stole his 25th and 26th bases of the season. Turner drove in a run and it scored a run. Beltran 2 for 4 with 3 RBI, the big hitting hero. Pagan steals a base, Bay steals a base, and more importantly, Bay got 2 more hits too, Garrett.
Well, Terry Collins has to be very proud of what Mike Pelfrey accomplished tonight. He sent him out there for the 9th. He kept him out there even after the 2-out error by Justin Turner kept the game alive. Pelfrey came within 1 pitch of his career high by throwing 123, and he appears to have really turned a corner in terms of his entire approach as a pitcher. He's given up more home runs now than he's allowed in any season, more than he allowed all of last season. But now he's not walking anybody. He's throwing a much higher percentage of strikes, attacking hitters, and I guess Ronnie Polino gets some of the credit, but most of it goes right on Pelfrey.
And I think your pitching coach, too, gets a lot of credit. Dan Warthen, with the work he's done with this staff, particularly the starting rotation, which has been brilliant.
There's your TGI Friday's game summary. Pelfrey gets his 4th win of the year. Allowed just 1 run and 5 hits, no walks, and 5 strikeouts in a complete game performance. The Mets stole 4 bases. They all came around to score, including a pair for Reyes, and Beltran with a bomb of a home run that put the game away. And Kevin Burkhardt is standing by with the complete game artist, Mike Pelfrey.
Mike, first of all, congratulations. Outstanding tonight. Was there a conversation at any point with Terry, or did you just feel like this was going to be your game all along?
You know, he kept asking me after the 7th. I came in, I said, I'm good. In the 8th, he came, how are you? And I said, I'm good. He said, you sure? And I said, 100%. And, you know, I wanted it, and, you know, luckily it worked out.
What does that mean for him to let you in? I mean, this is a game that you seemingly were in control. He could have easily gone to the 9th inning for somebody else. What does that mean for you to let you get a chance to finish one here?
No, I appreciate it. I told him when we were going through the line, and I told him thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. And you know, I'm just glad that I'm glad it worked out, you know. But, you know, that's huge, you know. And anytime you can give the bullpen a couple days off or a day off, you know, it's I'm sure they appreciate it too.
Mike, did you discover something, you know, going back to the first time that you worked with Ronnie Polino, it seemed like he really was aggressive with you inside. And since that point, it seems like you've gone to that well a lot, and it's really been beneficial for you.
You know, obviously, they had a lot of lefties in the lineup today. And
after the complete game, I guess Willie had to get you there. Willie, the silent assassin on the pie. The whipped cream or is it shaving cream? Whipped?
It is whipped cream. It's pretty good, actually.
Oh, go ahead and enjoy that.
Let me get some more in there.
Look in your fingers. That's been, you know that, right? The irony there.
It's okay, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
But talk about the aggressiveness and pounding that fastball inside and even up in the zone a little bit today.
You know, I think when you have a lot of lefties, you have to establish the inside part of the plate, and you know, from the get-go, you know, we did that, and you know, it worked out, and it opens up the outside part of the plate, and I had a pretty good slider away today, and my split was good, and I was throwing the curveball early for strikes, and you know, when you commanding 4 pitches, it's pretty good.
You did play with the curveball a little bit more than usual. Did you something in the pen that it just kind of felt good today?
It just felt good. I felt it good coming out of my hand, and you know, I was throwing it for strikes early, and you know, I got him to chase a couple times down. So you know, that's my worst pitch, and I had that going today, so that's a bonus too.
Mike, you've been a strike throwing machine. Yeah, I haven't had a walk in 3 games. Why?
I think the fastball command is where it all starts, and you know, it's been pretty good, and hopefully it continues.
How about for you? Not the way you wanted to start the season with April, but you just have kept up, picking up momentum, and just really seems like you're in a great groove. Minus the 1 start against the Pirates. I mean, you just feel comfortable? Are you feeling, just in a nice groove right now?
You know, I felt like in April I tried to do too much, and I wanted to be too good, you know, and I was overthrowing a lot, and when I was overthrowing, I wasn't able to throw the secondary stuff for strikes, and you know, I've gotten back to being able to command the fastball, and when I do that, and by not overthrowing the fastball, I'm able to throw my secondary stuff for strikes. That's been all the difference in the world.
Mike, it's a good day when you're sweating whipped cream. Congratulations, and go enjoy this one, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, guys. Mike Pelfrey, outstanding tonight. Let's go back up to you in the booth.
And he was in complete command tonight. Thanks, Mike, and thanks, Kevin. Terrific job by Pelfrey. 83 strikes, only 40 balls. in a complete Game 5 hitter, and Willie Harris got him. And if you're going to get this pie, it's better to be whipped cream than shaving cream. It tastes a whole lot better. That's a happy cream face.